institution is going to greet you first, Mr. Jim Yanopoulos, and then that will be followed by Dr. Michelle Carter, Dr. Ady, and then I'll come back up here.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your breakfast. Yeah, this will be the first, or maybe it's the second or third of many to come. Again, I'd like to thank Dr. Thomas and the Fine Arts Department for the music. And thank you, sir. I enjoyed that. Welcome, everybody. And those of you who have not been on our campus, welcome for the first time. I hope you will return. Well, a couple of things we're going to do going forward. One of the things that's so unique and beautiful about this sort of an engagement is that we can learn about you and from you just as much as you will learn about us and from us. And so going forward with the new funding model that the state has kicked in, I think we're going to see a huge paradigm shift in the way we do business, the things that we do, the opportunities we will bring to you, and look forward to serving you over the next 10 years. As I depart in August, Dr. Michelle Carter will be the incoming chancellor, and at this time I'd like to ask her to please come up and say a few words. Thank you again for being here.
Well, good morning, and again, welcome. First of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules, especially a Friday morning, to be here and learn more about Central Texas College and what we have to offer your students. As the Chancellor said, we're looking forward to learning from you, how we can be more effective in serving you and the students. We have some changes coming up as a result of legislation, primarily the House Bill 8 that he talked about. But I think together we'll be able to meet those challenges. We'll turn them into opportunities that will benefit both you all, your students, and Central Texas College. So again, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time today. You take something back with you that you can share with others, particularly with your students. Enjoy the day.
Good morning, ISD partners, community education partners, and CTC team. Thank you for visiting our beautiful campus and for spending this morning with us. We are delighted to have you. As your agenda shows, we have expanded from our traditional counselor breakfast to a partner education summit that involves a counselor and advisor, as well as a leadership track designed for superintendents and principals. Not only do we want this morning share information with you, not only do we want to spend this morning sharing information with you, but we also want to take this opportunity to get to know you better, to understand you and your students' needs, and to build on our existing relationships. We want to be seen by your students as a natural extension of their education and path to their future. This means we appreciate all invitations from you to visit your campus and engage with your students. Our student services and faculty teams are eager to provide information sessions and programs on what we offer here at CTC, financial aid, and to also highlight support services that are available to students resulting in successful college completion. We invite you to bring your students to our campus for tours, and we plant the seed to pave their way to a prosperous future. And lastly, we invite you to come to our open house held here at CTC on July 22nd. You will hear more information about this event throughout this morning. Thank you for your dedication to education and for being an amazing partner in serving our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ady. Excuse me. I'm Robin Garrett. I'm the Deputy Chancellor of Academic and Student Success. And I want to thank you so much for coming to this annual event. As Dr. Ady mentioned, we've kind of changed it up a little bit. It has been traditionally the counselor's breakfast that many of you have come to year after year. This has been an annual event for many years, and I appreciate your attendance. And I know you hear different things every single time. We've modified the schedule a little bit to incorporate 2 different tracks. And I think that this will be a very beneficial opportunity to share information with both leaders, counselors, our staff, and we can, as said previously, learn a great bit from each other. I want to talk to you just a little bit about something that is happening at the state level. You guys work a lot with TEA, and we work with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. They've implemented a new strategic plan called Building a Talent Strong Texas. And just think about those words for a minute. Building a talent strong Texas. That's what we do, isn't it? From the high school, from the elementary, all the way up. We do this. But they want it to be more focused. And the Talent Strong Texas initiative from their strategic plan is focused on ensuring that Texas remains strong with the people that we provide as employees to the employers. That entails ensuring that the higher education institutions provide training and the coursework that will help these people succeed in the workplace. That being said, we go twice a year to an institute called Texas Pathways. And Texas Pathways is built off of the coordinating board's work and strategic plan. And we go, like I said, twice a year. We just came back a couple weeks ago from this Texas Pathways event. One of the things many things resonated with me, but one of the things that resonated with me for this group is they said something that was like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. They said, random acts of dual credit. Think about that for a minute. Random acts of dual credit. What does that mean to you? What that means to me is that means that we are putting students in classes that might not help them get where they want to be. And that's something that I'm thinking, wow, what can we do to help? What can we do to make sure that these students are on a path to success? What can we do? Well, the other thing they said at this institute was they said that students that graduate from a community college with a general studies or interdisciplinary studies degree, and that's what they get, typically make an average of $24,000 a year. So what we're doing is we're putting these students on a path when we put them on interdisciplinary studies to potentially that goal. That's not what we want to do. We want to be sure that our students are focused. We want to be sure our students are on a path with, it could be in interdisciplinary studies or it could be in general studies, but on a path within that will bring them success. And help them to know what they want to do when they move into a university or end with their degree at the end of their associate's degree. We can do that. It's going to take a lot of work, but we can do that. Our advising team right now is already starting looking at students that are on a general studies degree plan or an interdisciplinary studies degree plan and seeing if we can focus them. Because how many times have you heard a student come back to you and say, you know, I took all these classes and UT won't take them. Well, UT isn't taking what I took at CTC. Well, it's not that they're not taking it. It's that it doesn't apply to what they want to do. You know, we may have students that we know that for the core, a university has to take our core if they completed the core. But they may have taken interphilosophy or drama or something in one of the core component areas. But that university wants them to have a foreign language. So what do they end up doing? Taking another lower level course to satisfy that requirement. So if we can possibly, potentially talk to our students about their end goal, where they want to go, what university they want to attend, and tailor the work that we do to help them be successful after they leave us. That is what my thing is right now. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about what they talked about at Texas Pathways. And I think CTC can make a difference with your help in what our students come out of CTC with at the end. So thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to a university partner right now, after I just talked about a different university, because I didn't want to say anything bad about Texas A&M. I'm Clifton Jones. Oh, he's busy right now. Okay, we'll give him a second. Let's see if I can tap dance for a minute. Okay. Are you in? Oh, almost.
technical issue with my PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, well, do you want to tap dance and, okay. Clifton Jones from Texas A&M.
Good morning. So as I mentioned, my name is Clifton Jones. I'm the Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management and University Relations at A&M Central Texas. And much like every conference, there's at least one glitch, and so I get to be that. So I'm taking care of it for the rest of the morning. Hopefully everything else goes well. I'm trying to get my slides pulled up. Sorry.
I can say something else.
Okay.
In your bags that you got, if everybody would take a quick look, there's a little poster in there. And I wanted to point out that poster because our students made that poster in our graphics department. They made that for you guys. And I just wanted to point out that that's something, we had our fine arts department here. We had this, it's something to show you what our students are capable of doing and to give you something to show your students when you go back to the office and, look, I have this from CTC. I hope you enjoyed all the goodies that we put in the bag for you. And before, so I don't forget at the end, I want to recognize this person right here. Gilda Pinto, she put this whole event together. Thank you, Gilda.
There's plenty of food, enjoy, and there's coffee and juices and stuff at your table. Go get more food.
No, perfect alignment. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to y'all today. As Dr. Garrett was saying, one thing that we really strive is to build impactful pathway partnerships. And I work with Nancy Patterson, the reps at CTC to build those pipelines from Clayton ISD, from Cove ISD, our local regional districts, trying to improve the pathway and the planning abilities of our students as they're looking at how to prepare for college and move without the loss of credit. We want them to be efficient and effective. For those that may not be aware of A&M Central Texas, we were established in 2009. We are the state's only upper division university remaining. All of the state public institutions of higher ed have moved into, or what we call downward expanded. So we're the last university that only focuses on junior and senior education at the baccalaureate level and offering graduate degrees. We have 30 undergraduate degree programs, with 21 of those being online. And we, this spring, are expected to complete or award our 10,000th degree since inception. So we're very excited. we're achieving that goal because of the partnerships that we have with our state's community college systems, including CTC. Because without it, we would not be able to do our job in offering baccalaureate degree opportunities. So just real quick, a couple of disciplines. They live in our 3 colleges. I'm not going to go through them each. The ones with asterisks are the ones that are 100% online. But I will point that CTC and A&M Central Texas, we have over 90 degree-to-degree pathways. So pathways that will take them from an associate's into a baccalaureate degree without the loss of credit so that students can plan. So great opportunities. As a university, our admission standards, we're actually pretty open. Our mission as an institution is access. We support a large number of students who are qualified as at risk, graduating almost 70% of our graduating classes are categorized in an at-risk category, which means they may not have been able to obtain that baccalaureate degree originally. And so we're very proud of our access mission. And as such, our admission requirements require a 2.0 on a 4.0 scale, be eligible to return to all previously attended institutions, and have completed 30 academic hours. Now, that is a legacy from our time trying to become a pathway, move from a pathway center to a university, a standalone institution. What we do encourage students, because of our partnerships, and we know that there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes into financial aid and some various programs, don't actually recommend students come over at 30 hours because there's additional gen ed they need to do. So they'll be doing a lot of extra administrative work to make that transition. So our common statement is stay at the community college until you can no longer get a full-time schedule, and that's when it's time to transfer, and we can help you do that. So as Dr. Garrett was talking about, we want to be able to help students plan ahead. We want to make sure we're not losing, students are not losing credit or wasting credit by taking courses that are not degree applicable, maybe transferable, but not degree applicable. And so one thing that we've done as an institution or as partner institutions is created pathways. This is an example of one pathway with Central Texas College, and I'm going to see if this works. Yes. And so if you visit our website, tmust.edu/pathways/CTC, you'll see that students, you can search all of our pathways that we have by academic year. As a reminder, catalogs for us at the undergraduate level are accurate for up to, or available for 6 years from the time the student starts at Central Texas College after graduating from high school. And so once they're on a degree plan or know what their career paths look like, they can say, okay, I'm going to take an associate of science and biology at CTC, and this feeds into, and as you can see, there's 3 different distinct paths from the biology program here at CTC into the biology programs with concentrations at A&M Central Texas. When they select it, you'll see a sample of that pathway that we have that clearly says, here's what you take at Central Texas College to earn your associates. Here's what you take at A&M to finish up your baccalaureate degree. All a direct and quick and simple path. We also have some other tools that might be useful to our partners. We have a transfer course library through a product called TES. You can look and search course by course an equivalent at A&M Central Texas. So if you're helping students pick, you're going to say, okay, what does that come in at? Especially if it's not on the common course numbering system, some of our institutions are still making that migration. We've been on it for a while, but some publics are still making that move. You can look here. If you have students who might have had dual credit or college credit attending out of state and are now coming to, or have PCS to Texas with their families, and you're looking at that credit, you can also look at out of state equivalencies on the system. The other thing we have is a transfer equivalency self-service. So when you're working with students who are in dual credit, early college, high school, or they're starting here at CTC, there's an opportunity for them to create an account, select their degree, major, and concentration, and then they can start plugging in courses and grades that they've completed. So they can see exactly where that course is going to fit on a degree plan at A&M Central Texas. And they can do that all the way up until they get admitted so that they keep on track and see the progress they're making towards that baccalaureate degree. So these are 3 really great resources for our partners and for our students. And all of them are accessible through a simple website. If you do tmust.edu/transfer, you can get to all of these resources from that one page. as part of our initiative as an upper division institution, we want to make sure we're trying to create a 4-year experience for students in partnership with our community colleges. CTC is our largest feeder institution, and we probably have unparalleled collaboration between our two institutions when you look at how community college and university models exist throughout the state of Texas. And to help build and cultivate that 4-year experience, we created a program called Transfer Central. Transfer Central is designed to engage students at the time they begin their college career, whether that's in dual credit, it's early college, high school, or they're a freshman at the community college. And so we want to engage that student by having them sign up. They'll get an ID card, university account access to our degree auditing systems, get invites to special events and functions specific to them, as well as general open events to our students. And we really want to engage them. And we provide them with a dedicated counselor who, Natisha, is one of our counselors here. She's stationed here at CTC 3 days a week. But we want to provide them custom and personalized experiences. And so our staff are kind of like case managers, helping them answer any questions they have, helping them facilitate appointments with other departments. As we know, sometimes institutional models vary, and so it's not as clear cut. What office do I ask for this help? What office do I ask for this? As I'm trying to get into an institution, that admission counselor is that primary point of contact, that dedicated point of contact. We also assign them a personal financial aid advisor, so every student is introduced to a financial advisor and help them deal with the question of how do I pay for college? We know that sometimes students are a little hesitant to be a little more self-advocating when they run into issues, and so these people, our staff work together to make sure they create good pathways and good plans for these students to be successful. The other thing is they can earn micro scholarships while they're attending the community college, while they're in high school, that are payable their first semester. So we've committed for this first couple of years, $200,000 in micro scholarships to students who engage in community service, for students who engage in leadership roles by serving on student organizations, because our institution, if you look at our mission, vision, and core values, civic leadership is high on that list. And so we want to encourage them to participate and acknowledge and reward those activities, because we want them to also be engaged and active students when they attend. So we also pay them to attend an orientation. We'll give them a scholarship to turn in transcripts for each long semester leading up to their first semester. That way we can have good information and data to better prepare them for a successful transition. So if you're interested in learning more about it or how students can sign up, we've made it very easy. I know for some that have been in the area for a while, they might be familiar with Warrior Core. That program has gone away. And it was also very contractually based. It had a big long document people had to sign, and it was a little intimidating. So now there's an electronic RFI that you use to register. It doesn't ask a lot of questions, and then provided that we know what school you're going to, we can get you into the program real quick and simple. The other thing that we were fortunate of this last year is to receive a $1.5 million grant from the Greater Texas Foundation to focus on continuation of early college, high school graduates into 4-year degree programs. And so with the grant contribution, we established the Greater Texas Foundation Warrior Scholars Program. This is a competitive program that accepts a cohort of 40 early college, high school graduates from a TEA-approved early college high school. So we have one here in Killeen. And what the program does is provide up to $2,000 in scholarships per year for up to 3 years to help the student pay for their baccalaureate degree. They also get a mentor, our GTF Warrior Scholar Program Manager, and they get involved in leadership development workshops. They get to travel to Bryan College Station to do some ropes course activities as part of an annual conference. We do social events because we do know that students that are engaged socially, students that are engaged on campus are more successful. And we do know that there has been a challenge with some of our early college, high school graduates completing their 4-year baccalaureate degree, which is why Greater Texas Foundation has put this as a focus. Our first cohort starts this fall, so if you have students in the pipeline or are interested that might be eligible, definitely get them connected. And it's again, we try and keep the websites as easy. This one is GTS Warrior Scholars. So technict.edu/Warrior Scholar or GTS Warrior Scholars. We still have room for this fall cohort. We're at about 12 apps now, so we still have considerable room, and I really look forward to bringing in this first cohort of students. We do a lot of work and intentionality behind our costing models, our pricing models. And so because we partner with community colleges to complete the Gen Ed program, and CTC is definitely one of our most affordable partners, which makes it really great, is based on the state average of a 4-year tuition and fee program, students in Texas pay about $40,000. With the partnership between Central Texas College and A&M Central Texas, we can offer a baccalaureate degree pathway for less than $20,000. And so there's huge savings. When you look at what Plain ISD, for example, or CO provides their students through dual credit opportunities, that cost is even less. And so I think Central Texas, I think one of the sections on the agenda said, why TAMU-CT? And I think it's really more why Central Texas, because we have so many opportunities because of the partnerships between the ISDs, the community college, CTC, and A&M Central Texas that get students to a degree that will make them a better fit for the workforce, the changing workforce in Central Texas and our Central Texas region. We also have some programs that keep costs low, such as our Central Texas Promise. So students with a family AGI of less than $40,000 with a 2.5 GPA or higher enrolled full-time, if their Pell Grant or other gift aid does not cover the cost of tuition and fees, the university pays it. And so it's a no cost for tuition and fee opportunity for students fitting the criteria. We are currently evaluating to look at increasing the AGI to increase access and make that more available to more students. We have the Warrior Guarantee, which locks pricing your tuition and fee rates for 3 years. That way you can plan. One of the biggest questions I get from families is like, well, how much is the total cost of a degree? And a lot of times, maybe not so much in the last 4 years, because we haven't increased our tuition, for example, our tuition rates in about 4 years, or 3 years at this point, is that rates change, fees change, structures change. Well, once you're in this, you're locked for 3 years, so you can create a plan with your financial aid advisor that looks at paying or how to pay and what the cost of a full 4-year degree is going to be. And then we have a bachelor bonus, and I guess I got to lead over on one of the things. But the bachelor bonus is an opportunity where students who are enrolled in 12 hours can take a 5th course or get up to 15 hours at no additional cost for tuition and standard fees. Now, if there's like a course fee, that still gets applied because those are usually for materials or related costs. But for us, that's a savings anywhere between $750 and $800 for a student to take one extra course. When you look at the overall cost of a degree program, that's quite substantial. And the other thing is scholarships. The university awards scholarships 3 times a year. So we are not just a fall scholarship or a campus that does fall scholarships. We do award fall, spring, and summer. Our foundation is very active and supportive in providing scholarship funds. And we've also implemented a new platform called Scholarship Universe, which really opens the door for students to access over 12,000 external scholarships provided by organizations, foundations, and corporations in the United States that have been vetted by a team so that they're reliable. It's not some of the ones that are a little questionable that we might get emails about. I don't know. I get a number of emails about external scholarships that have to be vetted. And so when a student, say in dual credit program, signed up for Transfer Central, because they would have a university email account and access to our system, they would be able to search for external scholarships that are available to be used at, say, Central Texas College. So it's not just in A&M Central Texas specific. It's actually an opportunity to take advantage of funds that they may not otherwise have access to or be aware of. And our system does a matching for them. They answer a couple of questions, and it creates a portal that allows them to see what they're available or what's available to them. So we're excited. The summer is our first semester on it, and it's we've seen an increase in our external scholarships revenue by about 10%. So we're already excited about some of those results. I mean, students are taking advantage of it. That's kind of the spiel I have about creating impactful pathways. And I just want to say thanks to everyone in this room because we couldn't do it without you. I know Petition and the recruiting team are on your campuses quite frequently, maybe some times feel like it might be too much. But we definitely appreciate y'all's cooperation and collaboration on these, as well as thanks to the host CTC for all that you do. It really is a quite enjoyable relationship, and I love coming here anytime I get the opportunity to. So I have a few, or an opportunity for questions, or we can do it later. I'll be on a panel during one of the tracks.
If anybody has any questions for him right now while you're thinking about it?
All right, well, thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Clifton. So we're gonna get our students all on a 4-year path, right? Through CTC, through A&M, and then get a good job. I think that's the message this morning. We'd love to see that happen. We have a few extra minutes, and a very big celebrity and former board member of CTC is in our presence. Dr. Burns from Copper's Cove. He's agreed to say a couple nice words to us.
Dr. Garrett knows I can never say just a couple of nice words. But I do want to welcome you this morning and tell you how glad I am to see you. You look really good today. It's Friday. Are y'all ready for Friday? We are. I don't know about anywhere else, but at Copper's Cove, we're ready for Friday, right? Copper's Cove? We're ready for Friday. It's an exciting time to be in public education. It's also a challenging time. I apologize for my tardiness this morning. I was on a phone call with state representatives talking about legislation. And so I want to say this to you first and foremost. Thank you for all that you do to make sure that kids make the connections, get the things done that need to be done. Not only to be successful in high school, but to be successful in the next step. We are an educationally rich environment, and that is in no small part to the work that CTC does for us at our partner Texas A&M Central Texas. Our kids have options that very few kids have across the state of Texas because these educational institutions are so close and we have such a good working relationship with them. So we owe a big round of applause to CTC and A&M. Thank you, CTC, for hosting us. But education is getting more challenging. I just want to share a few words with you and encourage you that if you have not been watching national news, then you ought to watch a little bit of it, not too much because it'll be depressing sometimes. But public education has become the whipping post for almost every ill that exists in society, from drug addiction to promiscuous sexual activity. I mean, if it can be laid on somebody, they have blamed public education for all of that. I would tell you that really public education probably has a minimal role to play in that. It's more about parents being absent in the environment or not having significant adults in kids' lives that create those environments for them. We as public educators are often left to pick up those pieces. And so you as counselors are the piece putter together. You're the puzzle maker because you've got to create an environment for kids where they can succeed sometimes in spite of their environment. And so I want to applaud you for the wonderful work you do, but I also want to challenge you to be a strong advocate for public educations, our junior colleges and four-year institutions. There are some colleges and some public schools and some junior colleges that are doing foolish things. And they're providing kids with opportunities that parents are unaware of. They're channeling kids in the wrong directions. They're doing all kind of goofy things. We don't have that problem in Texas, and we certainly don't have that problem in Central Texas. But it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to be advocates for public education. I will tell you, when vouchers, educational savings accounts, and all those things creep in, folks, all that is a disguised word to say segregate. That's all it is. And it's not necessarily segregation along racial lines, but it is along financial lines. And we know that more of our families who are Black and brown suffer because of poverty than anywhere else. So it is a segregating activity. The saving grace of public education at our junior colleges and state colleges and universities is we serve every kid. Whoever knocks on our door or shows up to enroll, we take them in and we provide educational services to them. Folks, the world will be very different and look very different for young people whenever we get into this crazy voucher and all this other stuff. on a large scale because opportunities for our most impoverished kids will be diminished significantly. As you know, and I've shared before, I come from a background of severe poverty as a kid. And I will tell you, if it hadn't been for free appropriate public education in public schools, I would never have made it. So always be an advocate for your kids. Always be an advocate to make sure that every kid has the opportunity, because education is where the ground gets level. Education is where kids have opportunities untold. Without an education, you are not going to be real successful in life. And I'm not saying you have to have a baccalaureate degree. I apologize for saying this, but kids need skills. So they can develop those skills through a vocational track. They can develop them through a college degree, either a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. But kids need that opportunity unfettered and accessible by all. You hear the scholarship opportunities. I'm here to tell you CTC is rich in scholarships. So is A&M. Let's make sure those kids get plugged in. Let's make sure that those kids know that opportunity awaits them. I've shared with you before, and I'll close with this. My favorite verse of scripture is Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and to give you a hope and a future." For our kids, for some of our kids are their hope and their future because they don't have the ability to hope for themselves or see beyond their current circumstances. So you are their vision and you are their hope until they can plug in and realize that the opportunity is there for them. So I challenge you to be an advocate for your kids, and I know you all are, but also be an advocate for unfettered access to education, because that's the great equalizer in society. And that's what every kid needs an opportunity to pursue. I hope that you have a great day. You look great, by the way. It's a Friday. You look great. And I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you.
Wow, maybe we should have had him close us out. That's interesting. We're excited now. Thank you. He's always a wonderful speaker. He did that just on the spot. I couldn't do that. That's for sure. Well, we are now to the time where we can take a break. And then we'll break out into our 2 different tracks. So please, there's more food over there. Enjoy. Go to if you're doing leadership track, I believe Dr. Amy will lead you over to the proper room. And if you're on the counselor and advisor track, you'll stay in here. We'll have some presentations and a panel. And we'll see everybody back together at, what time are we going back together? At 10, well, we'll have another break at 10:15 and we'll all be back together at 10:25. So enjoy.
Oh, it's right out the door there. I was actually gonna go that way too.
The next group of presenters, we'll start with Amy Williams, Director of Admissions and Recruitment. Emma Hutchins, unfortunately, is not here, but Dr. Welch, the Dean of Student Services, will be taking her place. Then she'll be followed by Pearl Creviston, the Director of Financial Aid, and then Ms. Valerie Payson, the Executive Director of College Development and Foundation, in other words, money, right? We've got financial aid money and then Valerie money. So that way, and then we'll move right into our panel discussion after that. So without further ado, Ms. Williams.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, counselors. Good morning. I'm here today to thank you. Thank you for all you do for your students. You are the first line of defense, and we appreciate your partnership. My name is Amy Williams. I'm Director of Admissions and Recruitment. I have been at CTC. I've worked at CTC for over 15 years. And I think I've worked with many of you in the audience. So it's really a great pleasure to see all of you again. Our center here. I'd also like to introduce Mr. Jeff Pyatt. Jeff, could you please stand? Jeff is our recruiter, and he's our admission advisor. If you've had the opportunity to work with Jeff, you've been in great company. Additionally, with Jeff pictured in here is our work study. Here lately, or I guess the past year, we've been sending out our work studies to all of our recruiting events, and we found great success in that. Speaking of work studies is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for these students to get real life experiences. You know, when you apply for a job, it doesn't just ask for a college degree, it asks for how many years of experience you have. So CTC offers that, and I don't know, maybe a raise of hands, does anyone else a work study? Yes, all right. So we know how awesome it is to be a work study, and I'd like to encourage that as well. Why CTC? We're affordable. Our financial aid is generous. Our academics are top-notch. Our faculty are experts in their field, and they're passionate about teaching. Our student life is active. It's diverse. We offer a wide range of student activities and organizations. We have many resources for our students. And also, our student body is diverse. We represent a wide range of backgrounds and cultures. Speaking of most affordable, as you know, the cost of college and living is rising at an alarming rate. The average cost of tuition, as Cliff said earlier, is $40,000. I have $30,000 in here, $30,000 per year. This is out of reach for many of our families in our community. This is why CTC is important. This is where CTC comes in. CTC is your much more affordable option. The average cost of tuition and fees at CTC per year is about $3,000. So we're saving your students about $27,000 a year. Well, this guy throws money in the air, and it's a really fun video. It doesn't look to be playing. Check it enough times. The community college It's not just about saving money. It's about getting a quality education. And our faculty, they're experienced, they're dedicated, our classes are small. So it gives these students individual attention they need to succeed. Not only that, we're voted #1 online college often. We are the #2 best for vets, top 10 online military college. And we have several sites across our Central Texas region, across the continent, on military installations and on Navy ships. In our student life. As a CTC Eagle, our students can have that true college experience. They can get involved in student organizations that offer professional development, creative expression, social engagement, and community service. Back to the job thing. Does it ever ask for just a college degree? No, they would experience community service. How are you involved? We also offer comprehensive resources to support growth in academics, health and wellness, and professional development. Did y'all know we have dorms? We do. Morton Hall. So please let your students know. I know there's a whole application involved in that and a deposit, and Mariceli, our student life director, may speak on that a little bit later. But we are giving these students all of these opportunities and resources because we want them to succeed. Which brings me to our enrollment checklist. And I believe that's in your folder as well. Apply for admissions. That's how you get started, right? applytexas.org. Secure your funding, VA, financial aid, scholarships. Make sure we have money to go to college. Verify that residency status. All right, you came in, my staff is notifying the students, this is your residency rate. They don't agree, they contact us. They have to bring in documents. Bacterial meningitis group. This is required. Under age of 22, there's a lot of waivers, but it's highly encouraged to get that vaccination. And it's, again, required if you're taking face-to-face courses. Submit those transcripts. TSI, academic planning, meeting with an advisor, talking about your plan, your goal. Are you here for 2 years? Are you here for 1 year? We're going to plan it out we want to make sure we're not taking any classes you don't need. Register and pay for your courses. So, I really hope I've convinced you that CTC is the right choice for your students. It's affordable. We offer a world-class education and a supportive and inclusive environment. Our students are prepared for success in college, career, and life. And I encourage you to encourage your students to attend Central Texas College, to choose Central Texas College as their #1 college, because it's an investment that's going to pay off for years. I want to go ahead and close this today with a quote from Charles Cooley. Today, I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. So we're going to continue to tell all of our students they're CTC Eagles, and we hope you do the same. Thank you so much. I'm available for any questions if you have any, and I used to be on the panel afterwards as well.
Any questions? Thank you. Yes.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. Okay. As Dr. Gary indicated, Eva was not unable to make it today, so I'm subbing for her. Okay. And I'm glad that she had the slides that she had sent me, copies of her slides. Thank you, Trust Jordan, okay? Okay, on your slide, we actually have three types of associate degrees. We have an Associate of Arts, which is a transferable degree to a four-year college. We also have an Associate of Science, which is also a transferable degree. And then we have the Associate of Applied Science that actually gives us, the Associate of Applied Science focuses in the technical area, and it's to give people entry-level skills. Okay? We also have, so I'm going to go back and kind of explain the programs, okay? The Associate of Science and Associate of Arts, again, they're designed to transfer, okay? And all of our associate degrees that are transferable have 42 semester hours of core curriculum. And that includes your communications, your sciences, your social sciences, and in your histories and your governments and fine arts and language and philosophy. Okay, and that block is, as Dr. Garrett indicated earlier, that block is transferable to a four-year degree program if the students complete the 42 semester hours of core. Okay? So we really want to encourage our dual credit, our early college, high school students, and our first-year college students to, if they know they're going to a four-year university, to complete that core first. If they're not sure what their major is going to be, they should start with the 42-hour core. Because if they get that completed, they have all their lower level general education courses. Okay. Also in the associate degrees, we do have some field of studies, okay? And those are designed for, if you complete the field of studies, those are designed also to transfer to a four-year college, okay? And those are like your major courses. You know, we have field of studies in business and drama and a few other programs. And the Associate of Applied Science, these are workforce technical courses, okay? And they're designed to transition students into the workforce and employment. And they generally contain at least 15 semester hours of general education courses. And some of our programs do require more than 15 hours, okay? But at least 50% will be focused in the area. We have a lot of really good AAS degrees. We have the criminal justice program. Of course, we have our associate degree in nursing. Okay. We have associate degrees in business management and applied science. And more colleges are accepting this as AAS degrees as part of their Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences degree. Okay. And previously, a lot of people did not take the AASs, but the AASs do lead into a BAAS at many colleges, and it's very beneficial. Okay, we also have our certificate of completions, and those can range anywhere from 16 semester hours up to about 42, some 42 semester hours, and they're actually stackable to an AAS. Okay, and so the students, if they're not too sure what they want to do, okay, but they want to get a good hands-on skill, start them in the certificates of completion, because that gets them interested. Okay, we want to get the students interested in, you know, a skill, and so then that will lead into the Associate of Applied Science. And a lot of our AAS degrees have several stackable certificates. They have a level 1, which is generally up to 42 hours, between 16 and 42. And then we have level 2 that's over 42. And somewhere we do have a couple level 2 that are like 35. In the computer science, we have 2 tracks. There's one, they're very similar certificates, but one is a level 2 and one's a level 1, and that's a little confusing. And just as a reminder, if the students do complete that 42 hours block of core curriculum, they can transfer that to a 4-year program. And there's an example here. This is an example of our biology, okay, for spring 2020. That would complete the biology 1408 and the environmental 1401 would complete the sciences core. College ready, as Amy mentioned, we do, you know, the great state of Texas does want to make sure all students are college ready and can read, write, and compute, okay? And so if a student isn't I complete, does not make amendments for the Texas Success Initiative, or they're not exempt, okay, we have a lot of great co-requisite models, okay? And we have 4 co-req models. English 1301 can be paired with our reading writing course. Our college algebra can be compared with developmental. Our elementary stat can also be paired. And our math 1332 can also be paired. And what that is, it looks like students are taking 2 courses, but our instructors are so good, they actually is seamless. They do not even know they're actually in 2 courses. Okay, and this is our contact information. Okay. And just a friendly reminder, our summer 1 registration is going on, and our classes start June the 5th. We have 5-week, 8-week, and 10-week classes. We have classroom on campus, and we also have distance learning online courses. And then we have a second 5 weeks course that starts July 10th. And that's kind of a best kept secret because, students can complete 6 hours in summer 1 and 6 hours in summer 2 in 5 weeks. Okay? But we also, for students do not want that accelerated pathway, we do have the 10-week courses, and they will end August the 13th. They start June the 15th, June the 5th, and end August the 13th. Okay? Our fall registration also starts June the 5th, and our classes will start August the 21st. Okay? Any questions? Yes?
You guys start work campuses on Fort Hood as well?
Yes, we do. Now, they offer 8-week terms. Okay? Yes, we definitely do that. Right now, they're scheduled to start June the 5th. Okay? And they run 8-week terms. Also, we do have distance learning online courses outside those 5 and 10-week structures. Okay, let me see what the dates are. We have a June 20th online class that starts. Okay, and then we also have a July 17th online term that also starts. And all of the classes that like the 10-week and even the July 17th, that's an 8-week, they're all designed so that they can be finished by the middle of August. The students that are going into the fall semester, they'll be able to have the credits to be able to transfer. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
While Pearl's getting set up, keep in mind that your students that may not be coming to CTC, but they're going on to a university, the summer classes can knock some stuff out for them early and save them a ton of money. So please advise them to do that.
That's what I have my daughter doing. I'm like, you come home for something, take those.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody awake?
Good morning.
Oh, I'm just gonna do this.
She's making fun of us.
Let me try again. Is everybody awake this morning? Thank you for coming. My name is Carl Creviston. I am the Director of Financial Aid at Central Texas, and I've met many of you in this room. We come out to your schools. We try to help you guys in any way we can. I'd also like to introduce Lucette Brett in the back of the room. She is our Associate Dean of VA and Financial Aid. So if there are specific VA questions, she'll be here to help answer any of those as well. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we had this discussion about CTC. We know it's cheaper. We know it's less expensive, whatever the word is. But Matt, are you still here? Where did Matt go?
He went to the other.
You know, I warned him I was going to throw him under the bus, so he left. That's what it is. But Matt and I were having a discussion about the word cheap. So I thought, well, my husband says I'm cheap. What does that mean? Well, you know, it's kind of like this shirt. I bought this shirt. I was so excited. It's colorful. I love it. It was $29.99. Woo! I'm excited. If I'd gone to Dillard's, it probably would have been $129. So I thought, that's awesome. He says you're cheap. So there's kind of a connotation when you look at someone, you go, oh, she's really cheap. What does that mean? And it makes it sound like it's less. It's a lesser institution maybe. And honestly, I have had very open discussions with your students at your high schools and your schools, and they come to me and they go, oh yeah, CTC, our friends go there, they can't get in anywhere else. Wow, why? Well, it's cheap. They know that word, but they don't understand what it means. So to me, and Clifton touched on this, to a student, cheap doesn't matter, expensive doesn't matter. They want to go to a school because they want to go to the school because it's cool. So to a parent, however, who's trying to pay or put 3 students through school in their household, cheap is a really cool word, isn't it? Because to me, I think of it as salaries. We all know that NFL players across the country get paid these wonderful salaries, just like all the teachers and educators in this room, right? Woo, look at the money we make. Does that lessen what you do as an educator? Are you less passionate about what you do because you don't get paid what an NFL player gets paid? Are you? I don't think so. I see more dedication in this level, at educational level, than any other profession I've ever seen across the country. We are not the rich and famous, we know that, but we're not cheap in that aspect, are we? This is probably the most dedicated group of individuals. When you go knowingly into education, knowing you're not going to have an NFL salary, and why the country thinks football players are worth more than us is beyond me, but they do, unfortunately. So we just live in that society. But I think we have to caution using the word cheap, just because it does have a negative connotation in some people's minds. We have dedicated staff of educators, of staff members at CTC, unlike any I've ever seen. They are so passionate about what they do, just like you guys at every one of our high schools, trying to get these kids out into an educational environment. When I come out, I ask kids all the time, what do you want to do? How much are you going to make an hour? Ooh, I'm going to make $8 or $10 an hour when I get out of school. Well, let's break that down a little bit. How much are you going to have to live on? How much is your rent going to be? What's your car payment going to be? And all of a sudden, they're a little scared. How are you going to live? Well, I'm going to stay with mom and dad. Yeah, I'm thinking not for very long. They're going to get real tired of you real quick. You know, when I graduated high school, I didn't know anything about college. I didn't have this. You know, I graduated from Coppers Cove High School. Woo! As I told them back when we knew how to spell bulldogs. But it is truly, I didn't have that. I'm a first time in college. I understand what these kids go through. Had I known that there's people like Clifton in the world, that there's financial aid people, my dad retired from the military and there were veterans benefits. I never heard of any of that at home. Mom and dad barely graduated high school. So you have got to understand what you do is so critical. And I think most of you already know that because you're not in it for the money, are you? So when I say cheap, this is what I mean by cheap. No, Gilby, you just showed me and it didn't work. Oh, I went backwards. I didn't put your school out there, Clifton. I put these others out there. This is a real look at just tuition and published fees if they included them. Some did, some didn't. But UMHB, $66,000 for 2 years. Just the tuition. I'm not talking about all the other fun things you can do at UMHB. Baylor, $103,000, 2 years. It's not a 4-year degree now. I'm just talking 2 years. So how beneficial is it for a student to get English classes that are taught by real teachers at CTC? They're real professors. They're educated. They know what they're doing. They're teaching the same required courses at CTC that they do at UT. There's state standards. You know, Clifton can tell you, English is English. You know, math is math. They have to have all these basics. Parents don't understand this. Parents don't realize, and I think sometimes we forget, it's not the kids we have to convince. They just want to go to the cool place, right? They're not concerned about how they're going to pay for it. So we have to focus on the parents and let them understand the quality of education to get those basic 2 years in, and right here in Killeen, move over to A&M. What is their bachelor's degree going to have on it? Texas A&M University, Central Texas. They are graduating from a 4-year university. They're just starting here. So getting that information out to parents is crucial. I've had more conversations with parents at these night events, because we come out and do the FAFSA night events, and the parents don't understand this. Well, I didn't know there was a real difference. Yeah, there's a real, well, why? Well, I don't know, UMHB's pretty. Well, so are we. Some of these other schools do offer athletic scholarship programs, so if you've got that NFL superstar that wants to go there, they probably don't want to start at CTC. But you also have a whole population of kids that have no idea what they want to do. They don't want to be doctors, they don't want to be lawyers, they don't want to be scientists. They just want a really good job and get out of school. I'm tired of school. I've been going to school since I'm 18 years old and I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, how about a certificate? Because you know what? That McDonald's job is good now, but it's not going to pay insurance. It's not going to help you with any benefits. You're not going to have the money to do what you want to do because all that money you're making is going to get eaten up by rent and utilities. That's the reality. Get a certificate. ASC certification, we do that. Welding, we do that. They make big money. They make more than me. And I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. And they can leave after certificate program making more than me. ASC, have you taken your car in for service lately? They make more than us, people. So I look at those certificate programs as these are the workforce of our future, and we don't focus on those as much as we need to. So that is very important to me as well. I've gone to some of the rural high schools and talked to those kids and said, I want to go to school. What do you want to do? Well, I want to be a mechanic. Oh, nobody's going to hire you without certification. What's that? You need to be certified. We offer that, and guess what? You don't have to do that for 4 years. That appeals to so many kids out there, you would be surprised. There's a career technical school in Killeen. How popular is that? Those kids are graduating with certificates, and they can continue that education here if they need to. So just reach out to those kids like you do every day, but don't forget to let the parents know that this savings, this type of money, that's money out of their pocket. So CTC is not cheap. And we just want to say we are affordable. We can help families save a tremendous amount of money, and we can help our kids get there without a huge debt of student loans, because I, for one, talk them out of it at every chance I get. We don't want to create a huge debt for someone who finally gets their degree and then they start paying back hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some of you are probably still paying your student loans off. We don't wish that on our kids. So I just want to end with saying, I'm cheap. Like this bargain. Oh, and these cool shoes, because I like to shop in little cool places. See, she's like, yeah. I don't have a Michael Kors purse, I know, but I'm cheap. But there's a different connotation to that word, and I think throwing that around, it needs to be something we don't use a lot of times, because to kids it has a, oh, you're cheap. It's a reputation, and we have an awesome reputation with awesome staff and faculty, unlike anywhere else, because we care. We know our kids in this classroom, don't we? Faculty at this school know their kids' names. You don't get that at places like UT, where you're one of 3,000 in a classroom. So keep CTC in mind. Let us help you bring your kids to us. And thank you so much for coming, and happy Friday. Woohoo! Thank you all.
Good morning, and I too am not cheap, but thank you so much. I'm super excited to be talking to you today. My name is Valerie Payson. I'm the Executive Director of College Development and Foundation here at CTC. And I am thrilled to provide you with the opportunities as far as scholarships and other resources that we can provide to your students. So we'll get started. As far as our portal, application portal, we opened it a little bit earlier this year, starting November the 1st. Typically, it didn't open until January 15th, and we thought this would give our students a bit of a advancement on getting those scholarship applications in during the Christmas break and things like that. And it really worked well with us. The closing still consists of closing February 28th of the season. And coming this year in spring of 24, we're opening an additional portal for our spring scholarship. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. So the advancement for that and different scholarships that we can provide our students. So as far as those opportunities, we have 225 plus scholarships that we offer here at Central Texas College. And those consist of not just scholarships. We have the Wolf Warrior Scholarship at Shoemaker, which is a fabulous opportunity for students over there. It's 2 years here at CTC and then 2 years at Texas A&M Central Texas. And then we have the Homeschool Scholarship that we established probably approximately 4 years ago. And so we're getting into that community, making sure that those students know about that scholarship and what they can how they can come to CTC. And then we also have the Boys and Girls Club Scholarship. They have the branch out of their clubs, and they have an opportunity to come to Central Texas College as well, and then on to the last 2 years over at Central Texas College or Texas A&M Central Texas. And as far as annual awarding, we do approximately $300,000 a year to our students here in Central Texas. So there's lots of opportunity for them to gain scholarship through Central Texas College. This is just a branch of the different submissions as far as our applications that we have done some data reporting on. 2020, we don't have any numbers for that, but in 21, we saw 664 applicants that came through our portal. In 22, it increased to 999, and in 23, it went down slightly to 935. We're hoping to hit our goal of 1,000 next year. So we encourage each of your students to apply for our scholarships that we do have here. And then it just gives you some samples of the different study areas, like Pearl had mentioned earlier, and Michelle, and Amy, yes, had mentioned earlier all the different areas of study that we have here at Central Texas College. The QR code, we implemented this year, and it was just a simpler, all of the students know about QR codes, as we all know as a nation. But the QR code is just an easy process for the students. All they have to do is scan the QR code. It takes them directly to the portal. They can complete the application in a matter of, I would say, maybe 20 minutes. It's a really simple process, and it gets them entered in for the opportunities to receive some of those scholarships. Eagles Nest and the Eagles Aid program are two more programs that we offer our students here at Central Texas College. And on the assistance program, this is emergency assistance. They do have to have minimum awarding requirements. They do have to complete an application, and we do have to have documentation. Now, this assistance is in the form of like course books, materials, tuition assistance, medical bills that they may have, pharmacy bills, dental bills, utility, housing, childcare, and automotive. If they need to get their vehicle repaired to come to classes, we assist with that as well. So they just have to do some documentation and some information to us, and we do have scholarships that facilitate that. This is one of our Nest Pantry monthly buying inventories. We do it through HEB. They're a huge partner of ours. And we go over and they know what our inventory is, and we just pick up all of the different items to facilitate our food pantry here on campus. Now, this is open to all students at Central Texas College, and there is an application process for that as well. And unfortunately, the insecurities are pretty high, and so we just try to do what we can to help them and assist them as much as possible. These are some of the items that we consistently are in need of, and it shows like as far as our numbers, 27 students were helped in 22 as far as monthly, and in January, February, and March of this year, we're doing an average of 20 students that are coming through the food pantry regularly. And they pick up every Wednesday. If they need emergency stuff, we will make other arrangements for them to come to the pantry. But it's at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays here on campus. And if you have any questions, Wendy Martell is our coordinator in the College Development and Foundation Office, and she is a huge support. And if you have any questions, if I'm not available, then she would be able to assist you in our office. Does anyone have any questions for me regarding scholarships? Well, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it and hope I encourage you to have everyone apply for those scholarships.
Okay, we're gonna move right into our panel. So panel members come up, and I'll just say who's coming. You already met Amy Williams, she's part of the panel. Mr. Clifton Jones, part of the panel. Dr. Christy Shank, she's our Disability Support Services Director. Since Eva Hutchins isn't here, Dr. Welsh will be replacing her. Marcela Santiago, the Director of Student Life and Activities, and she's gonna woo every time you hear her name. Ms. Janelle Deal, she's the Associate Dean of Dual Credit Programs. Pearl Creviston, the Director of Financial Aid, and Valerie Payson, who you just met, the Executive Director of College Development Foundation. And Bruce Bassbinder is going to moderate this. Please, if you have any questions, please just kind of wave at me and I'll be walking around, he'll be walking around, and we'll get your questions. We want to talk on the mic. But if not, we have a few things that we know are questions that people ask us a lot. So we do have some planted questions, but as things come to mind, please holler out. We'll get you the mic, okay?
Let's see, let's start. Hands up. Any questions to start before I'll kick things off? Okay, we got a question over here. This young lady is with Communities and Schools in Gerald, so welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Amrit. My question is for students that are bilingual, how, especially if they're limited in English, they know some English, what support do they get? Do they have somebody that speaks Spanish, or how can they be helped, especially if the parents don't speak English as well?
While he's trying to figure that out, it depends. Okay, so we have different tracks academically. There's two different things if they want to learn English, or for example, if they're from out of the country or they just don't speak English. There's a track where if they want to continue on to a college degree, then they can take ESL. Yeah.
Try it again.
ESL courses that are going to help them. It's just like developmental math, developmental English. It helps them as a second, because it's not just Spanish. It's actually, we have a very wide variety of individuals in this area that we can serve. And I have actually seen students almost, I am going to say, out of every single continent except Antarctica and maybe Australia, just because they speak mostly English in Australia. In Antarctica, penguins don't really like this area. But we can definitely help them if they're looking to continue. We have courses specifically, and there's a track specifically for them. If they're international students, that's something also that we have an international student director that can help guide them through some of these processes. And then, so that's one process. Then we have the other side, which is adult education. Through adult education, the students that need help, maybe, which I know a lot of you don't necessarily need, but you might have parents that might need this help. Through adult education, they can either continue to finish their GED or high school equivalency, I should say, because we don't use that GED anymore. There's more than one version of that, right, in Texas now. Or they can take English as a second language or English language learners. They can take that, and those are free. And those are Texas Workforce. CTC works with Texas Workforce to help improve that. We have our our adult education program. They can help them. They will test them, figure out what exactly their needs are, and help them improve in their English language skills. So it really depends on what's going on. Now, as an advisor, as a counselor, if you have a student that is in your school and you have a parent that has questions, we do have people that speak Spanish that can help. I oversee the campus tours on here. So if you send them our way, and I've had it before where, and honestly, I've also taught through, part of the reason I know about adult education is because I've taught classes through them. And so I'm very familiar with having a conversation with individuals from other countries or that are not very well versed in English. We can figure it out and we can help the students. It might take a little finagling. It might take, a little bit more time. They try to find somebody that might be able to help them to the extent that they need. But we have options for anybody.
The admissions team and advising team have Spanish-speaking staff that can help. If you bring them in, or the students come in, parents come in, we will have someone sit down with them and they can speak their first language with them.
Also want to add, the FAFSA is available in Spanish as well. So when they go into a FAFSA application, they have the option to complete it in Spanish.
And actually, we just created a Spanish application as well. And it should, I believe I posted it already, but I could double check. Our work study did that. It was really great. More work study also.
Great question. Anyone else? Question real quick? Well, I've got a question. You heard Carl mention earlier that sometimes you have students that don't really know what they want to do with themselves yet. And some of us still don't know what we want to do with ourselves yet. But, the student is struggling with what degree or certificate they want to pursue. What assistance can the student receive in making that decision to kind of help them, steer them toward a direction that might be of interest to them?
Yeah, I think for Central Texas, and this applies mainly when we look at students in our Transfer Central program because they're dual credit or college high school. Between, I know the resources CTC has, their career services departments, their academic advisors from the colleges, they get a lot of career exploration information and picking programs. And at the university, anybody who is looking to explore what four-year degree is the right path for them, based on their interests, they obviously have career exploration software that can help them pick a degree path or a career path and the degree that aligns with that. As well as we have professional advisors, which work within each of the colleges that focus on really looking hard at not just what career, but what maybe specialty within that career you would like, so that you're cultivating, picking the electives that best align with that program. So there's quite extensive services that start at CTC and then continue on to A&M Central Texas.
I'm going to piggy off of that again because I'm representing student success and persistence. Which means that part of what we do is making sure that students, once they're in, that they continue. And to explain a little bit more about what he's talking about, through our career sector, we actually have a program. It's free. Actually, you guys can access it if you want. You can go to the career services website. Keisha, what's it called again? Just say the word. Come on.
My plan.
My plan. See, this is our current director who, anyway, we'll talk about that later. She is overseeing the Career Center right now. Through My Plan, you can have your students go in there. I used it with my kid when she was trying to get to college. I was like, you're going to do this. And she's like, oh, I want to do, oh my God. I said, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take this and see what it says. And it's very extensive. It gives them a printout, and then they can actually see everything. If they need some help figuring out what that means with CTC and the pathways that we have here, they can contact the Career Center. They will actually sit down with them and kind of explain everything, break it down for them, offer them some options so that they know exactly what the options they have that are realistic to them based on what that says. Yes?
I'm kind of,
Sorry, I went ahead.
I really don't need a mic.
So the My Plan that she's speaking of on our campus, we ran it through with our juniors and seniors so they can kind of have a clue. So I took it just so I would know what my students would be seeing. So before I entered education, I did retail for 16 years. So when I finished the My Plan, my top 3 choices were all education, to be a teacher or a counselor. I was like, well, had I had this in high school, I could have gotten on that track so much sooner, and I wouldn't have 8 years before retirement. I'd be retired already. Right? So it really is a great program, and it's free through CTC. So I definitely advise you, for those students that don't have an idea or a clue what they want to do after high school, just based on their personality, the way they answer the questions, it gives them everything that they pursue that goes to relate to what they can do, especially if those are students that don't want to be bothered by people. That's in there too. They want to stay in the cubicle and don't want to have to, they're not a people person. It breaks it all the way down to that part of their personality, to what career paths will work best for them.
That is amazing that you actually chose the career path that you were destined to without that plan, but you got on the right track. That's wonderful.
Yeah, sometimes those hidden passions come out when you take an assessment like a My Plan. Kids don't realize what they're truly passionate about. They have an idea of what they really like or what they think they like, and then when push comes to shove and you put it on paper, it opens up a whole new world to them.
I'm also a big advocate of Keisha's plan. We keep putting Keisha on the spot today, but hey, Keisha, what's that thing you told me about where these kids can go in and put in what they want to be and where they want to live and how much it's going to cost them?
Texas reality check.
Yep.
Texas reality check.
Yep.
I did that at a few presentations. It's online. You just type it in, put it in, it'll pull it up. It was the coolest eye opener I have ever done with a group of kids at any school I ever went to. And I think it was out at the Coppers Cove schools that I went in one night and sat at a round table and I said, let's do this, guys. So we did it. We opened it up. We did the whole session. And when we got done, they were like, I can't live on that. But I want to live in Austin. I want to live in Dallas. I can't do that. That's right. Just wanted you to see that for yourself. Texas reality check. Great event to do in your classroom one day or something, just to give them a real good idea of what they think their McDonald's salary is going to do for them.
Is that often a big question that you guys get with your students? They come to you and say, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't have a clue what I want to do. Well, now you have a couple of resources to share with them. So, another question in the back?
Can you tell us where we can go to find the My Plan again? So if you go to the main CTC page and at the end of the URL, type /career-center hyphen, did you put the dash in there between career and center?
We've got career-center at ctcd.edu.
Yeah, that should do it. Yep. And so if you, on the left, see where it says career assessment. And there it is. So there's a license code in there that you'll need because those normally have a fee. And so if you use the license code, you can take all 4 of the assessments.
I'm sure if you did a search also on career assessment or something like that on our webpage, it'll come up also, but it's best to have the direct URL.
Just be clear, website is ctcd.edu. That stands for Central Texas College District. Questions? Questions? All right, here's one. If I have a student with an EP in high school, how does that student get those services in college? And how is the process different for receiving accommodations in college than it is from high school?
I am Director of Disability Services, and the big difference between high school and college is that at the college level, we do not seek out or identify students with disabilities. It now becomes their responsibility to self-identify to us. We do have a disability office on campus with 2 disability coordinators. So if a student has special education in high school, it would be best for them to come to our office, bring us what documentation they have from high school to see if it's something that we can or cannot accept. If it's a full evaluation at the high school level, we might be able to accept it. If not, they might need to get a new evaluation. We need to know what their disability is, how it affects them in a learning environment, and what accommodations they may or may not need. I recommend going to our website. Under the student resources, we have a disability website, and it outlines the instructions on how to apply for accommodations as well as a specific documentation criteria checklist.
Dr. Shang, what's the biggest thing that you hear from parents about the difference?
The biggest difference is that students now have to self-advocate for themselves. Parents are welcome to come in and get information, but it's now the responsibility of the students, since they are now considered adult learners, to come in and advocate, to request the accommodations. Another big difference is that they have to renew the accommodations with our office every semester. It's not something that's done automatically. So it's important for students who need accommodations to come in and meet with us so we can explain the differences between the high school and college level so they have a better understanding of what their responsibility now is.
And that applies to dual credit also, correct?
Dual credit, early college, high school. Any high school student who's receiving college credit has to follow the process for college level, correct?
Unfortunately, a lot of high school students don't know that, and they'll come in and they'll take their first semester, get financial aid, fail all their classes, and then come in and sit in my office and say, how come nobody helped me? I have a disability. Well, did you tell anybody? Well, no, my high school took care of all that. So it truly is not something that's translating to the student when they leave high school, that it is different. So that's really, really important, especially for any of you that are already aware of your students that have disability accommodations. Is, again, gotta talk to the parents and let them know what really needs to happen.
Dr. Shanky had mentioned accommodations. What are some of the accommodations that we offer? I know taking tests and those kind of things, so.
Right, the accommodations at the college level is dependent upon what the disability is. Some of the most common ones that we provide is extended testing time, a separate testing area, note-taking assistants, sign language interpreters. We also have test reading software if a student may need assistance with that. We also have scanner pens that can kind of help with reading. Again, it's really dependent upon what the disability is. We do not provide certain accommodations at the college level that you would normally get at the high school level. For example, we don't provide personal assistance or attendance. That again falls under the responsibility of the student. So if they need specific accommodations, we would have to look at what the accommodation is to see if it would be relevant for the college level.
Thank you so much. There's a follow-up from our association, Matt Lodge.
So high school faculty are aware often of what a student's particular disability might be and are informed and can react in their teaching to do that. My question is that the same at the college level? And what do college faculty know about a student's particular disability?
At the college level, we don't disclose what a particular disability is. We write accommodation letters for the instructors. And that outlines what the approved accommodations are. At the college level, we do not change the curriculum. The students are still expected to complete all the coursework that they would normally do as every other student. The accommodations are there to provide equal access, does not guarantee academic success, which we hope that it will. But we do have academic resources on campus, such as tutoring center, the computer labs, the library. So there's a multitude of resources available for students.
Also, Christy, just want to add to that with the FAFSA, Department of Education has rules as well as to how accommodations and disabilities impact students' aid. So it states the same thing Christy just said. They have to meet the same standards as any other student. So because I have a disability is not a valid reason to say I couldn't do my classes. So they still have to meet the same standards. The difference is they should have accommodation for it in order to help them do so.
Follow up here.
So we're talking about disabilities, but what about when it comes to like the impact that COVID had on just not on our society or community, but on our youth as far as social emotional learning and their mental health state? When you have those students, as a counselor, we get those days when they have those breakdowns and they're emotional. What support do you guys offer on the campus level for those students that are in that crisis moment?
So one of the things that we have as part of student success persistence, we actually have counselors on campus that will help the students. We do referrals to them all the time. We give them the option. We have them in person and virtual, depending on where the student is located and what options we have. The only caveat to that is that if your student is a minor dual credit student, our counselors cannot do that. What we will end up doing is we will refer them back to the high school counselors for assistance. Now we will work together and we will, I know I personally have had conversations where we will work with our team here at the college and we'll also work with the team at the high school to try to come up with solutions whenever a student has some version of a crisis, or we'll inform the counselors of the high school so that they can take over, because just because as dual credits, we are not able to do that. However, if they are a regular college student or outside of dual credit, then yes, we definitely have counselors that we can do referrals to. And we try to also have individuals. Part of what we're doing right now is we have a program called SOAR, specifically for branding, and I can't remember what that stands for, and my boss will kill me, but that's okay. But it has to do with student success. I know Charlotte's around here and she knows what it is, but what does it stand for, Charlotte?
Opportunities and relationships, student opportunities and relationships.
I thought it was academic relationships or something like that, right?
So,
yeah.
So what we're trying to do is, especially the first year students, try to guide them through the process, that they know the resources that they have, that we're taking them into hand and helping them. We also, one of the other things, and I'm going to throw that back at Charlotte, if you have a student, for example, that is award estate, McKinney-Vento, anything like that, she is our point of contact for those students. And if they self-advocate or and let her know that this is the needs that they have, then she will help guide them through the process, and we are able to do that as well. The key to all of this at the college level that I feel is different from the high school or K through 12 is that they have to self-advocate and they have to let us know. We cannot necessarily ask all the questions that maybe you guys can at your level. A lot of the times we're limited on the questions that we can ask, even when we see certain things. I know me, a lot of times if I see a student that is struggling, I'm gonna be like, hey, are you okay? Is there anything going on? Can we help you with anything? But I will not ask specific questions. They have to be able to tell me, yes, I'm struggling because I have a disability. Yes, I'm struggling because I have this situation at home, or whatever the case may be. So please help your students understand that at this level, they need to be able to speak up on their own. They cannot count on parents or support to be able to do it for them.
And we also have a wonderful student employee assistance program that will sit down and talk to students about any mental health issues. If they have weight issues, struggles with weight, we have counselors talk to them about that. We have issues talking about addiction. We have references and resources and referrals for them on multiple levels.
Where can I go to get that? I'll hook you up, don't worry.
Enroll at CTC and then you're a student, okay?
I'm just saying, whatever the issue is, our student employee assistance program will have a referral or resource or be able to guide you through the mental health process.
So, as well, real quick on the same topic for financial aid, when you have parent issues, struggles, things you don't, there's not a two-parent household. Maybe there's not even a one-parent household in some cases. So a lot of you counselors will already be aware of that under McKinney-Vento and the student situation. This is critical for FAFSA because it requires parent information. Parents are not available. There's a unique situation. You as a counselor can write a letter to send with that student that says, we are aware of this situation. This is the situation the student's under. And what that can mean is the difference between a student being able to be independent on their own and qualify for financial aid versus not being able to get anything more than an unsubsidized student loan. Huge thing that you as a guidance counselor can do for your students that you're aware of.
Yes, my name is Sheila Hodges. I'm the student liaison, student community liaison at Richard Milburn Academy, RMA. The question I have is childcare for our young ladies that's interested in coming to CTC. I know there's a child development center here as well. So would that be a part of their, for the financial aid, or they would have to go through workforce, continue to transfer those services to the campus here as well?
Okay, at Student Success, that's another thing that we do, because we want to make sure that our students are supported. So we have programs specifically for that. However, they have to, the way that it's through a grant, and the grant will cover it for only more vocational type courses. So things like nursing, all the, automotive and things of that nature. I would say they can still apply and at least have a conversation, because even if we can't, then of course we would refer them to workforce, for example. They can still do that. Our Child Development Center is a lab. So it's actually an academic lab, and it is open to the community. However, there is a waiting list, just like there is in every single Child Development Center out there. And so there are specific things that, it's not that, oh, you're a student, automatically you get that in there. No, that doesn't work that way. But then the money that we have through our grant to be able to help for childcare, we give a certain amount, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but we have a certain amount that we can give for students that qualify based on need and based on their degree plan. And then we would verify that and send that out to the child care providing service. There's more details to that, but we do have that. Same thing works with, we have book lending that falls under that same grant. And then we also have right now assistance for transportation. So either like a bus pass, or sometimes are for money for gas. They have to qualify, and we have limited funds for that. But it is something that we are offering to be able to assist students, because we know that they have challenges.
Thank you. Another Charlotte?
Yes, I'd like to just piggyback on a couple of things, Marcella, that you mentioned in reference to our foster care population. So I'm working with our PALS coordinator, and PALS, the preparation for adult living. And I recently made contact with communities and schools. So what I'd like to do is I'm working on visibility of getting out there. So letting the ISDs know that we do have a foster care liaison here on campus, and that is me. So I want to be able to meet with you so that we can develop connections and the process. Hey, what does this look like for our students that are aging out in the foster care? What are their next steps? So I do have information on the tuition and fee waivers and the ETB forms. So I'd like for us, again, to all work together to get this information out to our students.
Thank you, Charlie. That's a great point, because that's one population that really somewhat kind of hidden, I guess. Foster care students are not really talked about as much. So that's a great tool that we offer. And I'm sure at communities and schools, you probably are very familiar with the kids in the foster care system and experience a lot of that. So.
Where's my table mate behind you? Is that another question?
Oh, yes.
Bring them on, bring them on.
Don't burn me.
So I know that CTC is a 2-year program, but I know we have a lot, you guys have, we have a lot of certificate programs. What is the average length that a student can get certified and go right into the workforce in particular programs?
I know we have some that are what, like 6 months, anything from 6 months a semester to, yes. Okay, Ms. Veronica Martin.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Associate Dean Martin, and I am on the career technical instruction side. We have level 1 certificates, level 2 certificates, and both certificates that can to Associate of Applied Science. Our level 1 certificates are primarily 16 to 42 credits. Students can complete those in as small as 1 semester, depending on their dedication and how much time. So it could be 1 semester or 2 semesters for a level 1 certificate and 3 or 4 semesters for a level 2 certificate. So they can complete those fairly quickly.
And the beauty of that program is most of those classes are self-paced, and and there's no set start date. So when a student feels ready to progress and move on to the next level, they can do so.
That is true. For the self-paced classes, classes start every Monday. So when students are ready, they get into the program as soon as they would like.
Every Monday?
For some of our self-paced programs, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other hands up right now? We'll move on.
Okay, somebody said, if you don't have a question, somebody said I was gonna talk about the residence hall. So,
Go for it.
that was you. She threw me in the bus, so I wanna make sure I mention it. We do have a residence hall here on campus, which is very rare for a lot of our students. And speaking of students that are like homeless, and all that, we can help them find a place to live. That's always an option for them. A lot of the times, because of our rates, if they're considered in district, the financial aid covers all or most of their stay here, along with their tuition, depending on what's going on. But depending on what degree plan they're in, because there are some degree plans that are, like aviation, they're a little bit more expensive. There's a few exceptions to all of this, so I want to just kind of put that out there. But it's always a great option for any single student that might be interested in kind of getting away. Even we have a lot of students that like their parents are in Killeen or Harker Heights and they're here in the residence hall, and it's always an option for them. We are accepting right now for summer and fall. So if you have any students that plan on being a student in the summer or in the fall, they're more than welcome to come and fill out an application and start the process rolling so that they can be part of our resident hall.
Yeah, we have a police academy here on campus, and some of those folks come as far away from Brownwood or farther than that, and they stay at our residence hall and so forth. So that's another strong selling point for you guys. For Morton Hall, our residence hall, sets us apart from a lot of community colleges. Most community colleges don't offer on-campus living, so that's a plus. And as Mariceli said, sometimes parents just want to get rid of those kids, and they don't want them in the house anymore. So, we offer them affordable housing here. Put a roof over their head while they're going to class and meal.
But tell them that they have to behave, okay?
If they don't, they have to visit Mariceli, and that's one thing you trust me, you don't want to do.
Yes, is there a curfew for living? There is not a curfew. We have a curfew on campus, which is, I believe, sundown, to be walking around the campus. But the actual residence hall, they can come in and out as they please.
Now, one thing you guys might experience with students, you get students who are in the routine of being in high school classes, and they know the whole routine of where they're expected to be and so forth, and what's expected of their classes. Once they graduate from that environment and they come to college, they kind of get a little confused. They're like, what do I do now? Where do I go? I'm used to high school. College is a whole nother level for me. I need to see a counselor. I need to see an academic advisor to get my degree plan squared away, get my classes squared away. But we have options for that. And Dean Welsh will kind of talk about Eagles on Call, which is one of the newest programs we have on campus to help students understand the whole advising process. If they have questions about classes, if they have questions about the registration process or whatever, Eagles on Call is a great resource, and I'll let Dean Welsh explain that.
Okay, our Eagles on Call Center, okay, it's for students that you would prefer not to visit the campus, okay? Because we know, a lot of them have childcare issues and things like that. And so they can call in or email, and they also do web access, okay? And so the Eagles on Call Center is open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., okay? Monday through Friday. And so we have about 10 student services advisors there, okay? And so they're a great resource. They can help you get started with your admissions application, point you in the right direction. They can help with the registration, okay? They can also, even once you get into class, if you have some textbook issues or anything like that, they want to help you in the enrollment process or refer you to the right people. And so we kept those hours because, even though we serve our community here, many of your students are military, and so they're going off to, they're following their parents transferring, okay? And so, or they graduated from high school, but they're locally here. And so we kept those hours that way, so if they're in a different country or a different time zone, we can still accommodate them. And it is a great resource.
And as our slogan says, for students of the real world, sometimes your traditional 8 to 5 is not real world experience for a lot of students. So that's why we have the hours that we do, and that's why we make all these options available either through email or phone call and those kind of things. Okay. Any questions coming up?
Since Dr. Garrett has a mic right back there next to Miss Lucette Brett, I wondered if Lucette could talk about VA basics for just a moment.
That was my
Right,
next
Lucette?
question. Pearl, you're reading my mind.
For the veteran students and their beneficiaries, we have most of our things online now in order to expedite those processes. It's a very simple process. The VA has just gone and undergone a massive upgrade to their system called Enrollment Manager, which is making it even more efficient for us to process the veteran applications. Previously, a lot of documentation was required to fill out veteran applications. At this time, it's very minimal. They do have to meet with an academic advisor because they must take classes that are required by the degree plan that they select. And that's one of the major issues. And it's a little bit different from financial aid in that every time a student registers for a class, they must fill out another application for those classes. So for financial aid, you fill out the application, you get awarded for the classes that you're in for fall, and it's a one-time thing. If you decide that you're going to take some 8-week classes, first off, and you fill out your application for veteran benefits, then later on you decide you're going to take more classes or you drop a class, any of those actions will result in you requiring to fill out another application for us to verify. It's not our rules, it's the VA's rules. And so it's a little bit different when it comes to that. If you have questions, we are located with the financial aid department over in building 215. It's actually kind of right across the street over there. Veteran Services is on top with the TSI testing on the second level. Downstairs, we have disability services and financial aid, and we are always there, happy to help. Again, we have plenty of online resources. Then we also have the Hazelwood applications and the process located in our department. I do have cards with a QR code on them if you're interested. Hazelwood benefits are also provided indirectly through the VA. It's through the Texas Veterans Commission. Those are for your Texas veterans. If they entered in the state of Texas or if they are Texas residents and are veterans, those students or the veteran themselves may apply for the Hazelwood benefits. We also do consortiums with Texas A&M, Baylor, UT, it doesn't matter. So we have lots of different programs available, and I encourage you to visit our website at ctcd.edu, and you can search for veteran services, and we are happy to help you at any time.
Thank you, Lucette. And speaking of related financial aid, and we've touched on this a little bit before, but kind of summarize, Pearl, what are some of the, what as counselors can we do to help the students complete that FAFSA and make sure that they get it on time? Because I know there are deadlines and time constraints and so forth with the FAFSA.
For the FAFSA application, some of you may have students that are coming to CTC already in the summer. That means they have to do this current year FAFSA, which is the 22-23 FAFSA application. And that will cover them for the summer semester as long as they've graduated from high school. Moving forward, they have to complete a 23-24 FAFSA application in order to continue into the fall and all of next year. But that's one thing that does catch a lot of seniors. They think, oh, I'm going to run out there to CTC and I'm going to go take a class real quick. I did my FAFSA for 23-24. I'm all ready to go. 23, 24 will not cover them for the summer. So make sure they go back and have parents do the other one for this current year as well, if they want to take summer classes. So moving forward, a lot of times, Lucette just mentioned consortium agreement. And so what will happen, students don't know what that means. And some of you may not know what that means, but what it means is we, as a 2-year level, cannot award financial aid if a student is attending a 4-year school and receiving financial aid. So in this case, we partner with Texas A&M, and what will happen is a student will do the FAFSA for both schools if they're transitioning within 1 year. So for instance, a student is going to start in the fall and finish up their degree, and then they want to move over to A&M in the spring. That means they have to include A&M on the FAFSA application that they did for CTC. What a lot of students think is their financial aid transfers. It does not transfer. It's 2 totally separate awards. We had hours that we could award you for the fall, and then that means you've used 50% in the fall. Then you're going to go over under a consortium agreement, and they're going to allow you to receive financial aid over there for the spring. And what the consortium does is Clifton looks at them and says, oh, you need another lower level class. You're not quite ready, but you've got over 30 hours. You can transfer, but you still got to go back and take this lower level class. So you'll need to do that at CTC. What the consortium does is they approve it at A&M. Let's say the student's taking 6 hours there, and they come back and take 6 hours with us. A&M can award them for 12 hours. So they still get to use the full-time aid at 2 schools, but both schools are not awarding. That's probably one of the single most confusing aspects of that transfer process. I just spoke to a mom on the phone who was just furious with me because this transfer is just a mess and nobody explains this to them, how I've got to take these classes over here and A&M isn't giving me enough money to do this. And well, A&M and we as institutions can only award the max amount of aid. And if the aviation program is one of the most expensive programs, you probably don't have enough money to pay for it. So that's why having a student understand what the true cost is going to be before they get into this is the single most important thing. You know, that big plan, that 2-year, like Clifton talked about, that 2-year program is, this is your bottom line, how much this is going to cost you. And a lot of times there's a fallacy under the FAFSA. I qualified for a full Pell Grant. It's going to cover all my costs. It does not always cover all your costs. And a lot of it includes student loans. You also may need scholarships. That's why I always tell students, don't just ask how much your tuition is going to be. You need to know how much everything's going to be. Everything is a line item of charges when you're going to a school, and you need to know exactly what the total cost is going to be before you get your heart broken and find out you really can't go to UCLA as a non-resident. It's pretty hard.
In addition to total cost, you as counselors probably need to advise your students about deadlines with the FAFSA. Some students will just put that up until the very last minute, and as Pearl will tell you, the earlier they get that filled out and get it done, the better off they're going to be.
Just to add on to what Pearl mentioned about deadlines. So since we moved to prior year to make the FAFSA filing process a little easier, and they started making the FAFSA available in October for the following fall semester. Texas is one of the earliest states with priority deadline in January for filing the FAFSA to qualify for the maximum amount of financial aid. So it's really important that students take that advantage of that October to December time period to submit the FAFSA for any school they potentially could be attending, to take advantage, in Texas anyways, because of our state's priority deadline. One thing as counselors you might already be aware of, but things to keep in mind is the Department of Education, under the new legislation that passed 2 years ago, is simplifying the FAFSA even further and doing additional integrations. But as with most government projects, it is taking longer than anticipated. And so what is going to happen is they have committed to having the 24-25 FAFSA, which will be for the fall 24 year, that would normally be available October of 23, will not be available in October. They have committed to having it available by January, but if it comes out January 1, then in the state of Texas, there's 15 days before the priority, because that has not changed. Now, what the schools, the State Association for Financial Aid Administrators is looking at is what avenues do we as institutions and financial aid administrators have to adjust our programs, our financial aid awarding packages, our deadlines, because a lot of this is programmed into our student information systems. So I think that's one thing that as high school counselors, especially with y'all's requirement of having students complete the FAFSA prior to graduation, is something to monitor and be talking to the institution or the institutional environment on what exactly is this change or this delay for the 24-25 academic year going to cause, and how we can both all work together to help these students complete them within a short window that we might have available depending on when the Department of Education releases that FAFSA.
Thank you for that, that's good.
Excuse me, I have one more question. I'm rolling with the big dogs right now. We're needing a counselor over at our campus at RMA, so I'm just kind of touching here. But as you ladies and gentlemen speak, I'm kind of turning my wheels because I see vision for students at our campus, because we do take adult students up to the age of 22. So I was listening to you guys when I was saying about the SEP PACE program. Is that under financial aid as well? So a 22-year-old mom don't want to give him any money. How would that look for?
Yeah, a 22-year-old mom that doesn't want to give them any money doesn't really matter, according to Department of Ed. So until they're 24, they have to provide parent information, unless there's an exception, which includes their active duty military, they're an orphan ward of the court, they are a single parent supporting a child on their own, or parents' rights have been severed. McKinney-Vento will help that individual greatly if the high school counselor is aware of any special situation outside of that. Then McKinney-Vento letter from a guidance counselor is huge.
We'll offer you all those questions when we come in person.
Okay.
One of the great things that CTC offers also, another, sorry, before I get to my next point, let's wrap up this point.
So the TSI, so we administer on our campus every month, and we had a student that started in the spring. When we graduated in December, she started at CTC in the spring. When they take the TSI, and they're not successful, we offer the college prep math and college prep reading. And we found out that they had to have their certificates present, and that the certificates were only good for 2 years, and they're supposed to give them waivers, but they give them waivers on developmental classes. So the student brought that back to us, and we were like, oh, wow. So I guess I'm just trying to confirm that that information is, I see head ears and headlights right now.
First, let's identify the difference between college prep and college bridge.
That's what it is, college bridge.
Okay, so we're talking specifically about the Texas College Bridge.
Yes.
So that's a program given within this college prep classes. The rules are kind of tricky, like you said. It's valid for 2 years after the date of graduation. However, they must enroll, the first semester they enroll, they have to take that component. So ELAR, reading and writing, math. If they do not pass the class, if they're not successful, then we will enroll them. We will guide them into co-ed courses.
I've heard the aviation program. How long is that program? Is it just 2 years? Is it shorter than 2 years?
So aviation's a little tricky and a little different, because they have, it's almost like certifications within the total degree. That you can go all the way up to the full associates. But the reason that it's a little bit more expensive is because there's flight hours. And so the flight hours has a different cost because we have to pay for fuel for our airplanes and maintenance and all of that. So, to be able to get qualified, like they can complete, like we have students that have completed all their actual class courses.
Is that a 2-year plan?
Yes, it's a 2-year frame, but the problem is that they have to fit in a certain amount of flight hours to be able to get the certifications that they need through the FAA and whatever other entities that are out there, right? So what happens is that may not fit within just those 2 years. A lot of that has to do like the weather we had the other day. Anybody that was scheduled that day to fly, I promise you, these aviation students, they take a meteorology class. We have our residence hall manager is in that program, and she's just taking flight hours. That's all she does. That she's got everything else completed. She's done the Texas A&M. There's a bridge to Texas A&M to do an aviation management, I think it is.
You can do professional pilot or aviation management in 2 different concentrations in aviation science.
So they finished the pilot part here, but she's still doing her flight hours, and it's just they're constantly checking the weather. And if we have a beautiful day like today, all those aviation students are out in the hangar trying to get into a plane.
So is that a partnership or is that still considered CTC?
It's CTC. It's a CTC plane. It's a CTC hangar and all of that.
Yeah, that is all CTC for the 2 years, and after they complete here, then yes, all that is CTC. Then they can go over to A&M Central Texas and get the academic side of a 4-year degree in aviation. So
I looked up the other day and there was one of our CTC planes flying over my house.
And we have actually a lot of people from the state of Texas that will come here because how reasonable, even with all the extra fees that are tagged onto it, how reasonable our program is compared to others out there by them being able to complete their associates, potentially their bachelor's, and at the same time get their different levels of certifications of pilot license because there's different stackable for each class.
and we're getting several new planes in the fall. So we're going to get state-of-the-art equipment. We have a state-of-the-art flight simulator for those students as well right now. So they've got a lot to look forward to for aviation students. We have a question across the room here.
So I just had a question about student life and activities. You have a lot of kids that choose to go to college for those experiences. So I was just wondering like what CTC kind of offers to them, make it a little bit more good.
Now you're talking my language. Yes, I am the director of student life and activities, and that is my baby. No, we actually have, come on, Dr. Garrett, if I don't have this energy, I think you would be so disappointed. No. What happens is we actually do have clubs and organizations here on campus. They are student driven. Whatever the student wants, we try to accommodate within reason. If they want something, some sort of club organization, they come together, tell me, we'll help them figure out if there's a sponsor for them, and we try to have activities that they can come together and do things. We have some very active clubs. We were hurt a lot by COVID through our interaction through clubs, but I am so happy that this last year there has been a resurgence in students and faculty members trying to bring back the clubs and organizations and really trying to do things beyond. We've had a lot of support from the administration and making sure that we push that to be able to be a great opportunity for these students to make those relationships, come back and create those relationships that were lost, especially during COVID.
We also offer a variety of clubs. Like I said, we have some that are academic oriented, we have some that are community service oriented, we have some that are very niche oriented, such as anime or gaming and those kind of things. So we offer a little bit of everything for us. And if there's a club that's not available, and the student is interested, there is a process they can go through to get that club started for themselves.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see them come together. One of the newest ones is the gaming club, and they're just so passionate about it. And then never mind the anime club, because those, that's fun. That is a lot of fun.
I think one benefit is our 2 institutions, we partner on so many things. Our campus life activities are often open to community college students. And so we have kickball tournaments, we have, Federation qualifying rugby pitch in the back of campus, which I understand they're trying to bring back the rugby team. So if anybody has students interested in rugby. And with most of the clubs at CTC, there's a matching club at A&M Central Texas, so they can move straight through. We also are going to be working on developing or opening. We have a club, now we're opening up a virtual or a EA Sports gaming center on campus. There's a club, also like a center for club meetings and stuff. There's already exists on campus in Heritage Hall. So there's a lot of opportunity. One thing though that we run into, and I don't know if it's the same, is student engagement has changed and how we engage with students, especially as the workforce environment has changed for them. And so we are seeing shifts in what student life looks like on college campuses. And so what I talk about tonight, or what we talk about today, may not be what it is in a couple months, because it seems like it's rapidly changing, and the expectations of how students prefer to engage with our institutions continue to change. So it's pretty exciting though, because there's a lot of new things happening.
Oh, yeah.
To Mr. Jones' point, some of the other activities we have a very active intramural sports program. We offer flag football, basketball, volleyball. We have a 5K run walk for students every semester, dodgeball, kickball, soccer, all 9. So we have a lot of activities that students can engage in.
Yeah, we also ended up during the pandemic opening up a Discord server, and I don't know if you all know what that means, but your students do. And so it's been really interesting. It's been slow going, but there's been times when that's where they're going to get their questions. I don't know what to do, or who do I talk to? I have this situation. How can I get help on this? They end up going to these alternative, non-traditional routes that we maybe don't know about or didn't know about. And like during the pandemic, and Bruce and I have a great relationship, because during the pandemic we were working together, streaming, trying to get out there and talk to them at their level and where they're located, trying to figure out different ways of interacting with them, just to make sure that we had something. I mean, and it sounds silly, but for a while there, I was literally gaming by myself. I'm not that much of a gamer. But that's how they were asking questions and interacting with them, and then that's how they wanted to do things, That's how I was getting them to talk to me, which is kind of crazy, but that's what, interacting with them, the students now, especially post-pandemic, looks completely different from even prior to the pandemic.
All right, real quick, one thing for you as counselors, is the one thing that's great about CTC is our partnerships with you guys and the local ISDs. And we offer a dual credit program for students, so they can get college credit in college classes and a variety of programs such as culinary arts and so forth. And Janelle, if you don't mind kind of sharing how students can get involved with dual credit and what that offers them, and some of the programs that we offer through dual credit.
So students can visit our CTC website. There's a checklist to get started. It just kind of tells them the steps as far as completing the dual credit early admissions enrollment and advising form, as well as completing the TSI. And then they'll first want to connect with their counselor as well to see if they're eligible to be a part of the dual credit program. And then prior to submitting the paperwork for TSI and the advising plan, they'll want to complete the CTC admissions application. So that's important as well. And some of the partnerships that we do have, programs that we offer are welding, automotive. We have a EMT paramedic agreement, hospitality, baking. So there's a variety of programs that students are able to participate in.
I love that culinary arts one.
And if you're interested, just learning more about the program, in addition to visiting the website, we are available to visit your campus and meet with students to speak with them more. And if you need additional hands-on assistance as far as completing the paperwork or collecting paperwork, we're available as well.
And what would be a couple of the benefits for students to participate in a dual credit program?
They'll get a jump start on their education. It will really help their families financially, cost-wise, because a lot of our partnerships, the district will pay for the tuition or a portion of the tuition. So that helps. And it also gives students the opportunity to complete their freshman and sophomore year of their education. So once they complete their high school, receive their diploma, they're able to go into their junior or senior year. So that helps cost-wise and as far as kind of accelerating the plan completion.
Right, thank you. Any other questions on that? Well, as Maricela touched on real quick, and I want to wrap this portion up, is one of the ways we reach out to students is with the pandemic and all that was virtually. And I want to encourage you guys to participate in some of our virtual activities. We have a new student orientation coming up in June, which is just a broad overview of everything that students need to know as they come on campus as freshmen, from the, the advising process, the activities that we offer, how to use Blackboard and all of that. And in addition to that, we have several virtual info sessions. And those are just smaller, shorter versions of a new student orientation where students can get information if they're interested in coming to CTC and what we have to offer, the different programs, and just the little things about financial aid, Veterans Administration, and those kind of things, veteran services. So I encourage you, when we have those, to check on our website and use those, and you can gain information with that you can share with students, or you can turn those on to students and have students participate as well. And they're very interactive, they're virtual. We encourage questions, we encourage participation in those, and they're very, very informative.
So I want to say June 1st is our next new student orientation in the morning. It's virtual. Please, you guys are welcome to just listen in. You can learn a lot just from you guys listening in. Then we're going to have one, I want to say it's August 17th, I believe it is, in the afternoon. That one's in the evening, I think at 5, starts at 5. And then the other one is the Thursday before classes begin, which I can't remember right now. That was going to be
in person.
That was going to be in person here, right here where you guys are located.
But the others are virtual.
Yeah, the others are virtual. You guys can listen in, learn, have your
Feel
students.
free to ask questions if you have questions.
Seriously, if you have students and in the info sessions or new student orientations and we're doing it virtual, join us. Put your classroom together, bring them in, have them ask questions, have them prep some things. Let us be part of that experience. You don't have to do all the work. Let us help you do it.
And one more opportunity that Lucette just pointed out, which is great for you guys to share with your students, and they can bring their parents, is our open house coming up this summer. So we're going to open up the doors, we're going to offer campus tours, we're going to have different information tables set up from the different academic departments, student services departments, so you can learn about textbook lending, you can learn about the engineering side, you can talk to aviation folks, and you can talk to the financial aid people and the veteran services folks. You can talk to anybody on campus where you have a question. And that's why we call it open house. Our doors are open for you guys. And that's what we want to share with the potential students, those students who are here but not quite sure of all the things that they need to know. We want to share it with the families and those who are considering college, those who are not so sure about, maybe I need to get my kid motivated and get them here so we can find out some information about CTC and what all we have to offer. So, and then with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Garrett unless we have one more question.
Just what was the date of the open house?
Open house is July 22nd. You have information on the packet. You just steal my thunder, don't you?
You know.
Everybody here has in your packet information on the open house. It has a QR code. We make sure that you have something in your packet. If you want more, if you want to send it out to your students, you contact me. I will be around until the very end, until every single one of you leave. I will be around, let me know. I will make sure to get that information out to you. Please send that out to your students, especially the seniors. But we welcome you, not just the students. This is open to the community. We are your community college, guys. We are here for you. So if we don't only offer, we're focusing on the high schoolers and the seniors and whatever. But honestly, we're here for the parents. We're here for the siblings. We're here for you guys if you need a little something on the side just to get you, some CUEs or whatever they're called. All of that stuff, we have them for you. Just let it, and we're going to be showcasing all of that day.
And considering our oldest graduates, the last couple of graduation ceremonies have been in their 60s and 70s, we're here for everybody.
Amen. All right. Give our panel and moderator a big hand. Thank you so much. We are going to move as quickly as possible into the student panel as soon as we get everybody back in. But if you need to make a quick dash to the little girls or boys room, please do so, and we'll get started in the next few minutes. So thank you all so much.
I know, a little bit.
Yeah.
But here's the QR code if you want to get your students, anyone that's interested.